सोमेन भौमिक का आर्ट एंड आर्टिस्ट का जो डॉक्यूमेंटेशन है, इस डॉक्यूमेंटेशन के लिए आज आर्टिस्ट रीटा प्रसाद के पास आ रहे हैं। She is a sculptor and she passed out from MS University of Baroda and excellent artist, very innovative work. Mostly she used to work with clay at the present time, but we artists are very much familiar with her work, the previous work with stone. So Rita, say something about you.
Yeah, I used to work with various material, not exactly stone, but initially I started with stone, and it's a very interesting material for me. And I did my specialization in master degree with stone carving. So actually, when I saw our historical background, Ajanta, Ellora, and those gigantic sculptures which has been carved by people, those time there was no technology, nothing was there, but then also these people, they have carved a huge sculpture without any technology. So that inspired me somehow to work with stone. So that's the reason it was a very interesting material for me, and I continue with stone for a very longer time because it was my favorite medium. And of course, it's an ancient medium, and along with that, one thing was always a question. It raised the question that I mean, how those ancient people, how they transported stone, how they carved. So that was like it was a question mark for me. And along with that, when I started doing my work with stone, I came to know that it is nothing to do with strength and energy. It's like it was something else. Like people used to say that since you are a woman and it's not possible to do such a hard work for a woman, but what I feel, the medium is like, it's like you need your brain, that's it. Your energy is basically evolved from your brain. It's not related to your body. So when I started using tools and everything, started exploring, I involved with that. And then I find it's very easy, and I discover few elements which was like, you know I started interacting with the material. That was very important for me. The interaction was very important for the artist.
Rita, say something about your childhood and who inspired you, how you came into the art, and say something about your childhood and your education also.
Actually, accidentally I entered into art field. It was not like the other artists. They knew about it, that they are interested in a particular subject. When I was in school, I remember like I came from a middle class family, so there only there are few subjects which were very important, like science, and if suppose you are taking arts, humanities, and there was, so science was basically very important for us. And since I born and brought up in Bokaro Steel City, so there the schooling and the education was very important for them, for the people. So I was also studying in the school, and there, like, my parents and everybody, they knows that, she has to enter into science field. Like, either I have to be, engineer, doctor, or an IS officer. These were the only three things people knows, that this is what they have to be. So art was not, in scene. But what happened? One thing was there in Bokaro, that I knew very clearly, because since it was like a city where people used to, come over there. All the people, they used to do their jobs. So the education was very important. Since so we were very much aware about art. That privilege I had, that I knew that if suppose I will do better work, and if suppose those who are interested in art, they can go to the art college and they can have a proper study, like, higher education in art field. That much awareness we had. So that I mean, that was very important for us. Like, when I basically came to Delhi, and I just, joined a school job for my survival. Then I came to know here the schooling is like, I mean, the main subjects, the mainstream was very important for everyone. And there was not much awareness among the school student about art. If you will opt, art subject, you will have a higher education in art, then what will be your career? So people here, there is no awareness. That much awareness I had earlier when I was in Bokaro. So we knew that there are colleges. Like, I was very much aware about MSc University Baroda, Banaras Hindu University, which provides graduation and master's degree in art. And obviously Shanti Niketan. For us, Shanti Niketan was important. Then in Orissa also, the art colleges are, institutions are there. So that much awareness I had from my early stage, when I was in school. So, but I didn't know that I am a very good artist. So that was there. That was there. All of the sudden, what happened when I was in 10th standard, then I came to know that, okay, fine, this is the activity that I'm doing and I'm enjoying. So I was just, side by side doing art. It was not like, and there was hardly, I was not taking classes for art, and nobody in my family belongs to this art field, and they were not aware, because since I belongs to a middle class family, so they didn't had this much awareness that, and they were hardly bothering that what I'm doing and what I'm not doing. Since only the mainstream education was very important. You know what happened when I was in 10th standard? Like, we had to study, for a longer hour to, solve the sums, because I had a science subject. So whenever I feel sleepy, so I used to start, doing something which like, I engage my mind, try to engage my mind in this kind of activity. So all of the sudden, I just started doing, I took pencil and I used to make portraits from the magazine. So it was just, I started with the copy work, and I didn't know that, I had a very strong observation. Then I started showing to my friends. They couldn't believe that I have made such kind of drawings. So then slowly it's continued, and all of the sudden, after 12th standard, I thought, okay, fine, I can do, some art activity, and I'm capable enough. So I thought to go and take a class just for few days, just to explore myself. And I was not mentally prepared that I have to go to art college. So I went to a teacher, Mr. Ellen Nayak. He was a very famous in Bokaro, and he was giving training, and he was preparing students for art colleges entrance. I just went over there to, to learn few things. That's it. So he saw all the work, and he said, why you are not applying for art college? I said, sir, I didn't know that I am doing very good artwork. Then he inspired me. He knew everything. He said, no, I can say that you should apply and you will get it. And the way he started guiding me, that was like, I mean, he had a belief that I will, I will enter, I can apply for art college, and I will get admission in first attempt. So, and he started guiding me, and since I had a very strong observation, I started picking up all those instructions what he used to give. And I started just with the sketches, which I was not doing initially. So I started with the sketching, and within few days it has improved in very strong lines. Even I couldn't believe that I can make such a very strong line, and the sketching has improved. 10 to 15 days it was like, the you know the understanding of line, understanding of form was excellent. This
So
is
that
what.
is how you entered into the art field.
Yeah, because it was like someone has pushed me that I can do. And another thing was there, that this was the subject I realized, and this was the field, and this was the activity which I feel that when I involved doing art, I forget everything. I forget to sleep. I forget, what is happening around me. So that was that I recognize, came to know about the colleges. I applied for, for my bachelor degree. So I had given application in Banaras Hindu University, and somehow I got admission over there. And when I enter over there, so I saw everything, and there were, various very important artists who play a very important role in my career, in my life, and whatever material I am exploring, and the material stone. Actually, it's a very important contribution of Banaras uh, in my career when I started exploring stone. Basically, I worked, since it was like this thing, all the material we had to explore. It was just an academic education, so where basically we had to do everything like metal casting, stone carving, everything was there. But one thing was very important in Banaras. We had a ancient background starting from Mauryan period. So if I'll go back to Mauryan period, all the pillars, Mauryan pillars and sculpture and everything, it play a very important background. And along with that, there was a Chunar stone quarry. So that's the reason there was a culture of stone carving in Banaras, which was very important for sculptors. So, the artists, the student, those who used to join, so initially they start with the stones, and they explore that material, more, because it was easily available, and there was a, like, all the ancient, if architecture, you can go and visit, if you'll, visit Varanasi, the Ghats and everything. So you'll find stone everywhere, the stone, the architecture. And there was one thing which is very famous and which is still in the practice. Uh, the traditional carver, they used to make a stone, net. They carved a design, and that is called jali. It's a jali basically, and that actually very important during Mauryan era and before that also, because before we knows that it has a very strong background of Mauryan period. So since quarry was there, and the stupas, ancient stupa is there, so that's the reason it has a very dominant material for Banaras. And along with that, there was one, I got one teacher who is very important and who play a very important role in my life, and due to him only I enter into sculpture. Otherwise, I was planning to go in some other stream. But then, somehow, I mean, his persona, his, the kind of work he was doing, it was very inspiring. His body language, his classes, his lectures inspired me to opt sculpture. He was Balbir Singh Kant. So he was, I can say that he was my mentor, and he played a very important role. So from there I started working with stone. So initially, whatever I have done in Varanasi, it was, BHU, it was like hardly few stone I have done. But I learned all the ancient technique, like all hand tool work, how to do, buffing, polishing, and carving, splitting, all the ancient technique.
Rita, I am very much aware of your medium and techniques, because I am having very long association with your work also, and as well as your personally also I know you very well. After Banaras, you shifted to Baroda MS University, and you have completed your masters from MS University. What I have seen your previous works, like you have done couple of works in a larger scale on stone. But after that, you have changed your medium also. Can you say something about your journey, please?
Yeah, actually, after Banaras, basically I develop and I learn all the technique of stone carving in Banaras, since there was a already ancient tradition of carving. So that was very dominant over there, and mostly I mean the student, those who were doing their work, they were very familiar with the medium, because there was the traditional carvers who used to do their work in a very larger scale. And along with that, the teacher who were teaching us, like Vinod Singh and Balbir Singh Khat, who was a great sculptor.
I think Balbir Singh Khat, I mean, he has the great influence in your work also. I think so.
Yeah,
morally, and he has given you the support
yeah,
also.
Isn't not only on my work. If you see the other students over there, those who have been studied under him, you will find all the elements, like geometrical forms, and the way he treat the stone, and the way he used to do the chiseling and all that. That is if you'll see all the students work, you will find each and everything is very dominant, very strongly. He was dominant in all the students' work. So among those, there are few of them I know very well, like Bipul and then Videndra Pratap. So if you see their work, you'll find that cubical formation and the solid, and the treatment, especially the treatment of the chiseling technique. So that they explored from, they were influenced by Balbir Singh Khat, and they explore in the same manner. And when I was there, so I was exploring in a different manner. Mine was a little bit organic form, and it was a simplified form, which was basically the basic of stone carving, you can say. And from there, basically I learned the technique, how to use chisel, how to do polishing, how to do, prepare the surface. And chiseling was very important for us. And there we have been taught that how, without using machine, how you can split the stone, the bigger size of stone, how you have to polish it, how you can get a mirror polish, like Mauryan period, the sculpture, Mauryan, stambhas, and all Mauryan sculptures. So those things I learned from there. So I developed my skill from there. Then when I moved to Baroda, I have been actually, you can say, forcefully given stone carving specialization, and my teacher was Dhruv Mistry. So I don't know, though I was not mentally prepared that I'll do stone carving over there. But since he had seen my couple of work, and he was very much like determined that I should do stone carving, so he insisted. I could not say anything since he was a teacher, so I opted. And initially when I started, it was like two things together. First thing was that I have to do something different in Baroda. That was the main ambition and the main thing which I had to do.
You entered into the big different medium of expression. Every school has different method of learning and method of teaching. Do you want to differentiate the Banaras School of Art and the Baroda School of Art?
Yeah, I find, like when I enter over there, I find that there was a different way to see everything. They see, medium, form, everything in a different manner. And we have been, as a student, we have been insisted that we have to think in an entirely different manner, and we have to basically, study the material in a certain manner, so that we explore the medium fully and properly. So in that context, I started exploring the medium. I learn about many things like Egyptian sculpture. So I read about Egyptian sculpture, how they transported stone work, and how the carving have been done. And since everything, all the these ancient sculpture have been done without any machineries, without any technology. So that was a very that was a question mark for me, that how people shifted these huge blocks from one place to another place. Apart from that, they knew everything, the splitting technique and everything. So that was a very strong, all these things had a very strong influence on me. And that was one reason that I was very much determined for doing huge blocks, a bigger size of stone. And along with that was the one part which is, you can say that all the ancient sculpture and their technique and everything has a very strong dominant on me. Apart from that, if we will say in terms of Baroda, then there was another aspect, and that was how to explore the material in a different manner. That was a very difficult task for me. And I, in that context, I had always a questioning mark that how I will come out from that conventional thought process of exploring.
Yes, of course, I have seen your works, like the conventional art practices, like carving stone and bronze cast and all these things. But most recently, what I have seen your work in in Delhi, Sridhani Art Gallery twice. I have seen you entered into the very different medium of expression.
It was a process, a learning process. So though whatever I started, that was conventional, because I already had those forms and the carving technique and skilled everything I learned from Banaras. I could not immediately I could not escape from those things. So I started on that level, whatever I have learned, and then slowly I was very much conscious about everything, the technique. So technique also I had to explore, along with that the material. So I started thinking in terms of against the volume and mass. So that was the process. I started initially started making the block work, which was though conventional, but later on I started splitting it with a manual process. That time also I was not using machine, I was using manual process, manual tools. So to explore fully, I started thinking in a different manner how to use the process of carving, like splitting technique and then chiseling directions and method in my work. And then later on I started exploring the color of the stone, and then I started exploring lyrical form of the stone. Prashanta, what happened in that contest? I started splitting the stone. I started using in a pieces. I started making the assemblage so that I could spread the stone in a very lyrical manner, and I can use it in a different manner. So the sculpture was not solid and compact sculpture, rather it was in an assemblage format. So I started doing assemblage, along with the material exploration of the material, color and everything, one thing was also um, very much strong in my mind, and that was how to transport the stone medium, because it was a big question mark, because if you have to transport a block of 5 feet by 5 feet, so it was very difficult task. So transportation was one very problematic
No, I
aspect.
mean that is what you shifted to this assemblage work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's the reason. I started, splitting the pieces in a small pieces, and I started making, huge sculpture. So sometime I started using, various pieces like 20 pieces, 30 pieces. So, but that I explore little later found. But then, in Baroda, when I started using stone stone slab, very thin slabs, and sometimes thick slabs, and there I started exploring color also. So by grinding I used to create different shades. Like suppose the color of the stone is green, so I was exploring light green, then polished green, proper green color, and then with the texture, if I used to create certain texture, then it gives very lighter tone. So with one stone I used to create various tonal variation. So in that way I started exploring color of the stone. So it was my aim was to explore stone medium fully in terms of use of color, texture, and in terms of very thin stone and pieces of stone. So I broke all those conventional thinking and conventional representation of stone.
Rita, after completing a master's, you shifted to Delhi and started working in Lalit Kala Academy Garhi Studio. So, how you are working here and how you are trying to express your medium?
Okay, Shanta, actually, what happened? Whatever I learned, actually, I was very determined to explore stone medium, and that was in my mind, and I came here in Delhi, and that's the reason I joined Garhi Studio in Delhi to explore stone, because there is a space and there is a environment of stone carving and all that. When I came here I saw the same thing what I had experienced everywhere in Banaras and in Garhi too, that the artists, they were still doing the same conventional work. And since I got that clue how to explore this medium, so basically I started working here in Delhi with red sandstone, because I was exploring color, and I was exploring all the aspects of stone. So mostly few works I have used which were basically since I was exploring color, so red sandstone I used, which was easily available over here in Delhi. Apart from that, I had explored granite. So granite, thick slab I had used. So there also again the same thing, exploration of color, polished surface, so everything. And I used to assemble pieces in such a manner that there, if you will see the work, you'll find color is also there, and some very thin layer of stone has been assembled in such a manner that it's look like a spreading on the floor. So the solidity and the volume I have broke over there with these kind of sculpture. Along with that, obviously chiseling was very important, though I was trained in a very conventional chiseling technique. But then I was exploring a few things, few chiseling technique which was explored by me, and I tried many times. Like I was started carving in a clunches, right? So very precise manner I used to split the small pieces, so that I explored natural as well as uh, um, a chiseling method which is very less visible. And that time I was also very much aware about contemporary art scenario, not only the Indian contemporary art scenario, but I was very much aware. I was reading a lot, and I was aware about Western art the practices. In that context, I came to know, I read about Paul Nash, and then I found that there are certain elements which are very very much dominant and very much similar to Paul Nash. And then I started concentrating on those elements, like the carving, a rough carving, and then I was giving shape with a very polished and smooth surface, so it was an assemblage basically. So I started making huge assemblies, like one of the work, Life of Rhodes, is very important work which was selected in national exhibition. I forgot the year, I think it was 2006, and it was 27 feet long. There were around 400 small pieces and 3 to 4 big pieces, but that was a very thin pieces of red sandstone. So there again the chiseling mark and the splitting technique I explored. So in a very strong and full manner I explored the stone. But all of the sudden, since I came here in Delhi, there was a problem. There was year 2004. Shanta, what happened? That was the time. It was 2003, I guess. And that time, obviously, I shifted here. I didn't know anyone, so I started exploring here the galleries. I started visiting, and everything was there. But I for 1 year I didn't get the Gadi space to do my work, to continue my work, and that was a very difficult time I faced. And this was the time when I had to continue my work. It was very difficult to stay in a smaller flat and do the stone carving. It was not possible at all. And that whole 1 year I had exhibitions also. So I was just thinking that how to start stone carving over there. So for the time being, I started I was residing on a 3rd floor in a flat, small flat, and I started my carving work on the terrace. And then the people, they started coming to me and they started complaining that what you are doing, it was not possible at all. I was bit frustrated. This was the time, it was like I was in bit depression. I was irritated. I couldn't understand that how to continue my work. And that was the major breakthrough when I had few friends, which those were not fine artists, but they were artists. So in that way, one of my friend, she was a shoe designer. She's still shoe designer, and she came to meet me, and I started discussing about that phase that I had to continue my work. I'm not able to do. So she said, Rita, why don't you explore leather? So I was just wondering, how come I'll explore leather? It's not possible. And with leather, what I'll do? So that was a big question mark. She said, okay, fine, I'll give you some reference. So she started giving me some reference, and that I find very conventional. So, and since I studied in Baroda, so we had this thing in our mind that whatever we'll do, we have to explore the medium and the form, everything in a different manner. And that should be actually our own exploration and our own research work for the medium and for the work. So I was very conscious about those things. So I told her that okay, fine, let's see. So somehow, I mean, she helped me a lot. So she started, saying, this is stuff. So she started basically guiding me that before wasting leather, you do one thing. You start with all the cutting work and all that. If you want to give a shape, that was the only alternative, that you cut the leather, then you either stitch or paste and then give the shape. So basically, I started exploring in a bit conventional manner, you can say. So in that contest, I started using paper first, which has been, I mean, my friend, she has guided me that don't waste, it's very expensive, so don't waste leather, rather you start with the paper. So once or twice I did, but it was very difficult to do because leather was entirely different medium and paper was different medium. If you have to give shape with the paper, a three-dimensional shape, it's not possible. Okay, that will create in a different way. And leather is a soft medium, so if you'll cut and you'll stitch, that will give you entirely different shapes. So then I decided that okay, fine, let's start with the original leather, and let it be. If it is wasted, then never mind. So I started with the original leather. I started cutting initially, giving shape, pasting, everything. Prashanta, then what happened? I was just wondering that rather than cutting and pasting, if I could explore the leather in its own natural way. Like leather, we know that leather is just like a cloth, a piece of cloth. So can I explore in that manner? So in that contest, what happened? Whatever I used to purchase, leather from the market, I try to not, spoil anything. I try to not, cut it. Rather, I started using in the same form, and along with leather, I started using some other material which I added, and that was pins. And in that contest, I started using initially the ready-made pins which I get from the market. Then later on, I decided that there was some technical issue, like that was not stainless steel, it was coated, chrome coated. So I was just wondering in terms of the preservation of the material. So I started making my own pins according to the requirement of the work. So I used to buy leather and then SS wire from the market, and then I used to make pins. I started using pins with the work, and how that's the one story how I added pin to leather. Since I came to Delhi, the life was very difficult and it was very challenging because I had to support myself financially, first thing, and then second, since I was exploring different medium and unconventional medium. So in that contest, I knew one thing, that if my work will not sell, then how I will survive myself. So that was a big question mark for me. So for financial support, for monetary support, I started one school job side by side. So morning I used to go to school, and then afternoon I used to come to studio and I used to do my work. So that was a very tiring life. Later on, what happened, my work became autobiographical work. So whatever I was facing in my life, I was just depicting those things. So I started using, day-to-day life object like, dining table, bed, and everything. So my work are there that you can see. And then and since with the starting of this leather, I stopped, exploring new medium with my work. So according when the time phase change, when I feel very relaxed, and when I feel a different, I'm in a different phase and different environment. So I think in an entirely different manner, and I explore different medium. So that tendency starts developing with me to explore various medium. And after exploring this leather medium for a certain years, I started using now some natural medium like grass and soil and everything with my work, which is again entirely different medium, and which is what tells the story of my own life. So that way it's a autobiographical work. And presently I'm exploring this medium, and let's see what how I'll do. So it's a very spontaneous, you can say. So whatever medium I use, and whatever the way how I explore is very spontaneous. So what comes in front of me, that I explore. This was also the time when since everybody knows that it's a metropolitan city, so life is not easy. And we used to travel a long way, like 1 hour, 2 hour bus journey, because there was no financial support from anywhere. So it was challenging for me and very difficult, very struggling phase I go through for at least 5 to 6 years, and even it's continued till now. But then that was the most difficult phase I had. And this was also the time I struggled in Delhi, and along with that the life was very mechanical over here in Delhi. And I found one thing, that the people, they have here money, everything is there, they are earning a lot, and they are residing in a very good place, and they have all facilities. But then emotion, relation was missing over here in Delhi. And even the same thing I was facing in my family with my brother, sister, and everyone, because we don't have time. We were since I was doing job, and along with job I had to continue my work, so I was not able to give time to my friends and family and mother, whatever. So what I find, that the emotion had gone, and there was only thing is how to earn money and how to survive. So the kind of pain and the kind of struggle I face in metro city, the life which was very you can say not only struggling but very painful life which I had lead, and everybody was facing the same thing, but they were not realizing. So I started using those things, I started using those concepts in my work, and I collaborated and I mixed two material, leather along with the wire and pins, and I started using those forms which
You had very different journey also, like since the beginning until date you are having very different journey.
Prashant, and it was difficult time. So whatever I was facing in Delhi as a metro,
this is all about the sacrifice, once you determine that you have to create something, you have to continue your work. It is all about your determination as well as your sacrifices in life.
Of course, and it was not only with me, Prashanta.
Yes, absolutely, it is happening with all the artists also. Thank you so very much, Rita. It's a wonderful work journey you had.